and he's still alive, and he lives in Bangalore, and I meet him every once in a while, and I've been meeting him for 45 years now. So, that is Swami's, he has done this, and his mother is, a permanent inmate here, and she's about 90 years old. And he was like, Swami just said it and gave the vibhuti, and the doctors say you're not the same person.
Wow.
Amazing. And
even in your first visit, you noticed some miracle, which was very astounding, isn't it?
yeah, my God. Okay, so there was this lady during the Guru Purnima about a week before I left. Swami called them for an interview, and she was with her son, who was about 13 years old. And, so Swami said, okay, and there were more people now for, the Guru Purnima, you have more people. And so she was walking with her son and helping him to go towards Swami's room, where at the door. And he, after 2-3 steps, he seemed to falter, and he fell down. So she was, trying to help him, and she was not very strong, and he was deformed. His bones were deformed, his neck was stiff, and he couldn't walk properly, obviously. So Swami bent down, and Swami seemed to say something to him. This boy suddenly, he gets up and runs at the speed of a rabbit for the next 18 to 20 feet up to Swami's door. From that part to the door, he goes like, it was like 2 seconds, I think, 2 seconds, no more or less. And suddenly he fell down again in the same way that he was. So everybody just, they got up, and I was like watching, okay, yeah, nice, sweet. I mean, I was obviously amazed and very surprised and happily and in wonder. But I didn't react very heavily. I don't know why. I don't know. But obviously I saw it with my own eyes. And then, whatever. And the interview thing happened, and we went about our rooms or to the shed where I was staying. So when I stepped out of the shed, I saw the mother of that boy speaking to other people, 8, 9 of them, talking about her life. And this boy was walking near her back and forth for the first time in his life. And he was walking a little awkwardly, obviously, because this is the first time he was walking on his own. And he had the look of a person who had won more than a lottery. I mean, he was looking, what can I say? I just totally blissed out. Like, he was like walking, he couldn't believe it. The look on his eyes said everything. You can't fake that. No actor can fake that. Amazing. And he was only about 13 years old. And I didn't ask the lady anything. I didn't ask the boy anything. Swami had cured him. And I actually forgot about that miracle. I hardly talk about it to people because for me, it's like a part of life. I mean, for me, I'm like, of course, it can happen. I don't think like, what was that? Find out, investigate, find out more. No, I'm good with that. So these kind of miracles have happened to a lot of other people. So on my next trip, he didn't call me for a long time. And then it was like actually time to leave. And suddenly I had a call. I had to rush for something. And I thought, okay, last day he'll call. He's very cool. And I've been a good boy. And whatever. He didn't call. And I was like, no, this is not happening. So it was a bit of a nightmare. I was quite perplexed. But he also gives you the strength, I suppose, to deal with it. And I said, okay. And then, you get. So something transformed in me like, I guess I actually matured. You mature because you have to evolve in your relationship with Swami as well. He has to evolve you. You have to learn to accept the fact that you will not have the physical proximity anymore because you don't need it. But I'm not going to think like that. I'm not going to say I don't need it. I'm like, I need it. Swami, I was very famous. They used to call me interview Swami. I used to get interviews very easily and suddenly finished. So I said, okay. So I left one trip without it, then the next trip. So from 1979, so let's say 80s, 90, 2000, 2010, 42 years, he hasn't called me ever for an interview, ever. And so be it, and I was like, okay. And then he also said something about, I had a notebook with me, which is lying right here, and he opened that. It was an empty notebook with a photo of him waving, his proverbial style of, of the blessing. And he looked at it and he went through it like that. And he said, and it was empty. So he looked at it, he went through it, and he said, notebook also empty, head also empty. So he struck me with that notebook and gave it back to me. So I said, okay, yeah, he knows that I'm an empty-headed guy or whatever. And I was okay with it. I didn't feel offended. I didn't feel excited. I didn't know what it meant. So when I came out, my friends, other friends, there were a lot of people always harassing the people who had an interview. What did he say? What did he do? So they asked me and I told them this. And they said, oh my God, that's wonderful. My God, he's ended your mind maybe. He's, ended the vagaries of your mind. And they were very positive. And I said, oh my God, thank you for saying that, because I thought he meant you're a duffer and you'll remain a duffer all your life. That is the cover, the original one on the notebook, which became a bit humid and all that. But I managed to save the cover, which hit me on the head. This is the one. And he went through this notebook and then told me that. So
he made your head empty so that he can fill it with his work and his grace, and so that you become an easy instrument in his hands.
Totally. I mean, and it took me a long time to get it, but it didn't matter even if I didn't get it, because I was now, I suppose, already on the automatic mode with him. That's why he didn't need to call me for interviews anymore. And another thing that very strangely happened is my father passed away in 2005. And a gentleman, an ex-governor to Karnataka, Mr. Khurshid Alam Khan, who was the father of Salman Khurshid, the law minister, he came to my house for the condolence after 2 days. And I had met him at the governor's house in Bangalore earlier on my way to see Swami. So this is what happened to him. So he met Swami. As the governor, they always meet Swami, irrespective. So Swami asked him, so what do you want? In Hindi, he said, kya chahta hai? So he said, Swami, वैसे तो सब कुछ है मेरे पास, I have everything, but if I could have some more shanti, थोड़ी सी शांति मिल जाती. So Swami very interestingly said to him, वो नहीं मिलेगी. Which is very unlike Swami, because Swami complains to the people, the devotees, that you're constantly asking me, ये दे दो, वो दे दो, केस करा दो, ठीक, नौकरी, ये वो, मतलब travel and marriage and whatever. But you never asked me for Shanti, which I have come to give you. So, but when he asked for Shanti, he said, oh, nahi milegi. But anyways, he was very sweet. And he materialized a ring for him. A Nauratan, which he gave to him, and it fit him very perfectly on the right finger. So I said, what happened to the ring? He said, well, I have my own faith. I'm a Muslim. And I have very carefully, with great care, I have put it securely in one of my drawers. So I said, great, sir. But sir, I said, you know that I'm still, going to Swami, and I'm very much in touch. So could I, I didn't even have to complete the word. What I meant was, could I have the ring? So Are Janab, let me see. I don't know, it's been 8-9 years and, whatever. He sent me the ring the next day with his driver, the one that Swami had actually materialized for him, and it's here with me now.
Oh, wow.
This is the ring. This I got 2 days after my father passed away. And this is Swami's way to give succor, S-U-C-C-O-R, the dilasa, as they call the equanimity, to deal with a person loss. It is known Swami does something or the other to make the person feel that, I'm behind you. So I got this ring. And that was like 2005. So we are looking at 3 years here and 15, about for 18 years I've had this. It was waiting in a drawer for like 8 to 10 years for me, because what Swami had made them for him was to stay in a drawer to come to me because I needed it. So that is Swami for you. So when I tell people about this ring also, they like completely say, what? You know, even the devotees who know Swami, how he operates often enough. But Swami does not cease to surprise them because that is Swami. He's just, he represents all the prophets, all the avatars, all the holy men, all the great masters, all the messiahs who have been here, you know, including the Buddha. He is just all of that and more. In fact, he made a better Muslim out of me. For a while, I began to fast during the Ramzan. When I was very much into him that way, I began to fast and I felt the Ramzan more in my system, in my soul than I had ever done earlier on in my life. So he has this ability because he carries with him this divinity, the divine principle is there, soaked, and it just emanates from him like waves. So what I say to people is, here is the deal. If you go to a place where it's raining, you'll get wet. If you don't have an umbrella, you'll get wet. So if you go to a place where it's raining grace, you will be affected by the grace. You will all feel it. You can't help it. If the grace is flowing from this great source of divine love and this omnipresence and this great power, and yet you will be affected. I can only say to the youngsters who are in schools and the colleges and everything, I think it's a great idea to believe in God and to follow His path any which way that you are familiar with or want to be familiar with. Bhagawan is a great option, and he actually went out of his way to establish the fact, the truth that God exists and more than exists. He actually persists, and he can be befriended by anybody, anytime, anywhere. So do not lose faith. In fact, develop faith for God, because then your life can get more qualitative, and you will evolve better, and you will not get into unnecessary dark dungeons in your life as you move ahead.
Fantastic. I think that was a really powerful message, and coming from you, it will inspire a lot of youngsters and a lot of people, no matter which faith they come from. And thank you so much for that. I know you are a good singer. You love to sing. So perhaps we should end this conversation on a musical note.
Ram Hare Sai Krishna Hare Sarva Dharma Priya Sai Hare. Ram Hare Sai Krishna Hare Sarva Dharma Priya Sai Hare. Allah Ishvara Sai Hare. Guru Nanak Yeshu Buddha Hare. Zoroastra Mahavira Sai Hare. Zoroastra Mahavira Sai Hare. Sarva Dharma Priya Sai Hare. Baba Sarva Dharma Priya Sai Hare. Rama Hare Sai Krishna Hare. Sarva Dharma Priya Sai Hare.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Sai Ram.
Sai Ram.